We are looking at the BROS 23.10. So let's quickly boot it in a live boot. So I'm running it as a virtualization, which is a VMware with 60 GB of hard disk, 4 GB of RAM, and my CPU is i5 1240p. So here is the welcome screen of BROS. So you get a live boot and you can directly install it from here. So it's always a good option, go with the live boot first, and if you're satisfied without any bugs or any crashes like that, you can go with the installation. And the installer is also available in the live boot, so you don't need to be worried. So first you choose your language here. There are plenty of languages available for this distro. So I'm choosing the English as the default and choosing the live boot. It's going to take a few seconds and we should be seeing our KDE Plasma desktop layout loaded completely of a BROS. So here is the desktop layout of the BROS 23.10. So when I started the boot up, it took exactly the 5 minutes of time. So it should be more or less in your PC, but it took like 5 minutes to load up the desktop layout for me in my PC. So it should be more or less for you. So before changing the display setting, let's first check the system monitor so that we can see how much of resources it consumes. So we don't know how much of resources it consumes. BROS will consume, it is consuming around like a 1.2 GB. Already mentioned I'm using a 4 GB of RAM for the VMware. So let's check all the process and let's go to the official website and check out all the new features. So right now it's almost like a 1.2 GB of a 3.8 GB, which is 4 GB of RAM. So this is the CPU at the beginning or when we started up the Linux distro. So these are all the applications running right now. History, this is the CPU and this is the RAM. So there is no stable graph for some reason. So even it's a stable ISO file, but it doesn't have a stable graph still. So let's wait for 1 minute or 60 seconds to see. So as you can see, there is going a stable graph now. So we need to run like a minute, so we should be getting a stable graph. So let's go to the process. So it is taking a bit of time here for some reason. So these are all the processes running right now in the beginning of the video. So let's get back to the overview. Let's check the version of the system monitor. So the version is 5.27.8, which is the latest version, and the Qt version is here as you can see. Let's keep it aside. I'm going to put the system monitor throughout the video in the right side corner so you can see the changes in the RAM and the CPU. So let's first change the display settings. Let me change the display settings. Everything is taking a bit of time here, like a 2 or 3 seconds for delay in the distro. So my monitor is 1920 into 1080 with a 16:9 ratio. Let's click apply, keep it. Let's check the about the system. So this is the complete information. So this is the official website. You can directly click on it or you can just type it in your search bar, which is br-os.com. So it will take you to their official website. So the KDE Plasma version already mentioned. KDE Frameworks version is 5.110.0 and the Qt version is 5.15.10 and the kernel you get is 6.5.0-9 generic, which is same as the Ubuntu 23.10 Mantic manager. So everything is same. So let's go to their official website and check out all the features. So I'm choosing the Firefox web browser. There is also LibreOffice, as you can see, LibreWolf, which is same as the Firefox web browser. So let's wait for a few seconds and keep an eye on the CPU and RAM throughout the video so you can decide whether to use this Linux distro or not. It's clearly up to you. to judge this Linux distro. I'm not going to recommend or not going to say anything about this Linux distro. So about Firefox, you get the same version as the Ubuntu 23.10. So let's check about support. Let me type in about support. Get some of the information. So these are the some of the information. People who don't need it, you can just skip this part. People who want it, you can just pause the video and read everything, or you can just change the playback speed to 0.25, which will be default 1.0 in the YouTube settings. So you can see all these things in a slow-mo, or you can just pause the video and read everything. It's completely okay. So these are all the information you are getting. So we get a macOS type dock in the bottom, as you can see, like here. Not exactly like a macOS, but it's a dock in the bottom. So let's go to their official website, which is br-os.com. So let's type in this thing and let's wait until it loads. So let me open another page and I think it opened. So so the language you get is Portuguese and you need to change it to our language. I'm choosing the English. So everything is completely loading. So it is taking a few seconds here. So I have a good internet connection. It's like a 10 Mbps. So I don't know why, maybe website. So I tried to open the website in my official or the main operating system. It was taking this much of time. So you should be also getting that much of time. I don't know. Maybe because I'm using a VPN. That's the reason. So this is some of the information of BROS. You can read everything if you want. So let's go to the download section. We have like a two downloads option here, but when you go to that thing, you will be highlighted with a single thing. So 23.10 is not available in the official website. I think we need to go to their SourceForge website. So let's go to the SourceForge. So we are going to the SourceForge website. Let's click on the website. You need to just type in BROS and you should be getting that. So here is the BROS. So we should be getting the files here. So as you can see, there is a 23.10 here. The ISO file size is around 3.6 GB and downloads this week are 389 and one of that is mine. So let's click on download, or you can directly click on here. So if you want to read something about that, you can go to the official website or you can just click on here. So it takes like a 5 seconds of time to download, to generate the link, not to download. It will generate like a link sound in a 5 seconds. So for some reason it's doing something like that. Let's choose the another mirror. It started the downloading in the background. So here it is. The file size is around like a 3.3 GB. So let's close this thing and get some of the information here. So let's open the console or the terminal. So let's put it in the left side. So let's make it bigger and get some of the information. So let's type in INXI, hit enter. So here we have information. So let's try to read everything. Here is the CPU. I hope you can see everything. So here is the kernel, which I already mentioned. So uptime is almost 13 minutes. I already mentioned that it took almost like a 5 to 6 minutes to load up the desktop layout. As you can see, it's almost 13 minutes. We didn't do anything still, but it's already 13 minutes. I'm going to trim that unnecessary part so you can watch everything properly. So the RAM is almost like a 1.61 GB of a 3.78 GB, and INXI version is 3.3.29. Processors running right now are 282. So hard disk is almost 60 GB, which I already mentioned. I'm using a 60 GB for my VMware. So let's type in another command, which is inxi-small b. Hit enter. So under system, it says host as a BROS, and here is the kernel, and it's a 64-bit, and the desktop environment is KDE Plasma with a 5.27.8, and distro it says as a Ubuntu 23.10 Mantic manager because it's Ubuntu based. So under machine, it says as a VMware because I'm running it on a VMware. So here is the CPU information. Here are the graphics information, which is display is X11, server Xarch version 1.21.1.7, BMWGFX version is 2.20.0.0, XVLAN version is 23.2.0, and OpenGL version is 4.3, Mesa is 23.2.1. So this is my network information. This is the hard disk already mentioned. So process running right now are 267, time is 14 minutes, and already mentioned INXI version 2. So let me type in another command, which is INXI dash capital G. Hit enter. So here is some of the information. If you want to read it, you can read it. So this is my display resolution or the present resolution, which is 1920 into 1080 with a 16 hertz, 60 hertz. So let's type in neofetch if it's pre-installed. So neofetch is not pre-installed. So let's try to copy and paste the command and try to install it. It should take like a few seconds here to install the neofetch. So let's wait for a few seconds here. So at present the RAM is almost like a 1.7 GB and the CPU is going until 50% and going down to 1%, 2%. So we need to type in Y or which is yes to install the neofetch or to continue the download of a neofetch. It should take exactly like a 10 to 15 seconds or maximum 20 seconds to install the neofetch. So it's reading database, so it's going to be installed in a few seconds. So in a dock you will get like notifications, all this thing. I'm going to go through all these things after completion of the all this console thing or the terminal thing. So first just a few seconds, I guess 98%. So you get a transparent console or the terminal in the BROS. So it's installed. So let me type in neofetch now. Hit enter. So here is complete information. The OS, the uptime, packages, shell version, shell bash version is 5.2.15. So here are some of the information. If you want, you can pause the video and read everything. So let me type in cat:/etc:/issue. Hit enter. It's a BROS 23.10. So let me type in another command, which is INXI-SV8. This command will grab completely the distro information. So every information of the distro will be here. So let me go through all these things in a few seconds. So let's scroll it up and get all the information. So here is the complete system information as you can read. Just pause the video and read everything if you want. So here is the machine information. Here is the memory information. Here is the complete CPU information. Here is the all vulnerabilities. Here is the complete graphics, display, screen, monitor. All this information is here as you can see. So here is the audio information. Pipewire version is 0.3.79 and ELSA version is K6.5.0-9. So here is the audio information. So here is the network information. Here is the complete Bluetooth information, Bluetooth device, optical partition, swap, unmounted USB. All the information is here as you can see. So here is the sensor, repos, process. All the information is here. You just need to pause the video and read everything. So here is some of the information at the end of the video. End of the terminal, sorry. So process 266, uptime 7 minutes, wake ups 226, init system D version 253, shell bash version is 5.2.15, which is was already mentioned. So here are complete information of the distro. So let's type in htop now. Htop is should be not pre-installed, so we need to install it on our own. So just copy the command, or you can just type in this command, which is sudo apt install htop, paste and hit enter. It's going to take like a 5 to 10 seconds and you should be seeing the htop installed. So let's say try to type in htop. So here is the htop for some of the viewers who want to see the htop. So I think we covered everything in the terminal, so we need to close the terminal. So let's try to close it. So let's go with the installation process. I'm not going to install because I need to make another video, so that's the reason I'm not going to install. I'm just going to show you the installation steps or the installer. So you already know how to install the BROS or some other Linux distros, so you don't need to worry. For the viewers who are new user or the beginners, just for them, you can just skip the part if you are a pro user or already a Linux user. So first you need to choose the language here. Click on continue. You need to wait until the keyboard is loaded. So you need to choose your keyboard variant. Click on continue. So you get like two options in the updates and other softwares, a normal installation and the minimal installation. In normal installation, you will be getting like a web browser, utilities, office, software, plus additional internet applications and media players. And in the minimal installation, you should be getting web browser plus some basic utilities and applications. Basic utilities are like a text editor and something like calculator like that. All things will be in the minimal installation. A normal installation will be covered with everything which is available right here, as you can see. So these are all the apps which are available, will be available in the normal installation. So other options are like a download updates while installing BROS and install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware and additional media formats. So in my opinion, it's a better option to check this both the boxes. If you are already using the Linux distro, you know how to do that later. If you want, you can do that later. So it's clearly up to you. Click on continue after choosing all this option. So it's going to take 30 to 40 seconds in my PC to complete this thing. Preparing Ubuntu drivers, it's going to take like a 30 to 40 seconds in my PC. It should be more or less in your PC. It should be completely different in every other PC. So instead of waiting for this, let's check out some of the dock settings here or the dock features. So you get a date and time here. Here is the notification and options available or the status and notifications. So here is the networks. Here is the disk and drives. Here is the volume options and application volumes. You can customize here. So here is the clipboard. The previous things will be copied here. Here is a QR code. Here is to edit contents. Here is to remove from history. Here is to invoke actions. So let's get back to the installation now. So you get the guided use entire disk, USB use entire disk and set up LVM, use entire disk and set LVM, encrypted LVM. So these are the three options you get. If you are choosing this option, it's going to delete the current operating system or the current media files or any files which is available in that hard disk. So these are the options which will erase everything. These three options will erase everything in the hard disk or the virtual disk, whatever the disk you choose here. So if you have multiple hard disk, you need to choose your exact hard disk. You need to know what hard disk you are installing or the installation path. So the manual is like you need to create a partitions. It will give you like a dual boot options or a dual operating options. So you should be having like a current operating system and you should be having a BROS alongside with your current operating system. So this is the option to go with the manual. So if you choose the entire disk, it's going to delete complete entire disk or erase everything. So if you click on install now, it's going to take you to the time zone user info. User info is like you need to create username, password, all the common things. And the time zone, you need to give the time zone and the location. You don't need to provide the actual location and time zone. You can provide anything you want. It's going to install like in a 5 to 10 minutes. It completely depends on your PC. It should be different from for all the other PCs. So it should be more or less like a 5 to 10 minutes. It's clearly up to you. So let's close the installation and let's open like some random apps, like a 5 to 10 apps, to see whether this BROS will crash or stuck with the screen or something like that. We get errors or something like that. Let's try to do that. Let's open like a 5 to 10 apps, random 10 apps, to see whether it will handle properly or it will crash. Let's see whether it is smooth or like errors, all these things. You get all the top apps here as Blender, Darktable, Game, all the important apps is available in the BROS. Usually the KDE Plasma desktop environment doesn't have anything like this, and the KDE Plasma desktop environment based distros also doesn't have any of these things. So the BROS has already almost every app, I guess. Not every app, but the important apps. So let's try to open all the apps here to see whether it crashes or not, or whether it just stays on the screen like a blank. Let's try to see. So the memory is almost like a 2.1 GB right now. So let's open random apps like a GwenView. Let's even open the software. Let's open the K text editor. Let's open the LibreOffice. So let's open the, not the LibreOffice, it's a Library Wolf. I forgot to say that. So it's a bit of confusing for me. So let's open Ockler. So under the multimedia, let's see what is in the multimedia. So this is pretty common because we are continuously opening every app in a without delay. So that's the reason it's a bit of taking a time. So it is common, but we shouldn't see any crashes or anything like that. So let's try to open some of the apps still. So the apps are opening in the background. So that's the reason we are seeing a bit of lag here. So that is pretty common. You don't need to judge the Linux distro here. We need to wait for a few seconds and see whether it crashes or not. But there is a common delay in the in using the Linux distro, like a 1 or 2 seconds of a delay, or maybe more than like a 2 or 3 seconds like that. So as you can see, there are still apps opening in the background. So let's try to see. And we have like a freeze now. I think there is some apps opening in the background. So let's wait for a few seconds. So let's switch to the system monitor and see whether you see all the resources. Right now it's almost like a 3.4 GB, and the CPU is almost like 100%. As you can see, it's almost up to 100% now. It was like a 95, 96, but it's almost 100% now. So it's going down. So let's wait for a few seconds and every app should be open, and we should switch the apps. So we, if we see anything like a lag, anything here, and it should be a good idea to use this Linux distro with just opening like a below 10 apps. So that's the advice I will give you to right now. So let's switch the apps now. Let's see whether it's working or not. So it's almost like a 3.7 GB, and as you can see, most of the things is not working because I opened almost every heavy consuming app, heavy RAM consuming app. So that's the reason I think it is stuck here. So I don't think I can use this Linux distro now. So when you open like a 15 apps, almost like a main apps like a GIMP and Darktable, and something like a browser, a Firefox browser. When you have like just a 4 GB of RAM, it will be a bit of problem. And we already opened the dark table and a Gwen view, I guess. We opened like a 15 to 16 apps, I guess, and it's almost like a 3.8 GB and CPU is also full. So when you're using this Linux distro, you should be using just like opening like a maximum of 7 to 8 apps, more not more than that. If you open with that of 4 GB of RAM memory, and you should be opening like a 7 to 8 apps. More than that, you should be seeing like this as mine. You can't use anything here. You just need to wait for hours uh, to, or you can just close it if it's possible. But right now it is not possible. Everything is stopped here. That's the reason I always try to do this type of things, because you need to see whether this Linux distro will handle some of the apps or not. So when you see like this, you should just be careful. When you have a 4 GB of RAM, you just need to open limited apps. You don't need to open all the apps in the background like you do in the Windows. So if you are using a Windows operating system in 2023, you should be having at least 8 GB of RAM. So it is necessary in 2023. So for the 4 GB of RAM in Linux distro, you need to be careful when using this type of Linux distro. But it still handled like almost like a 15 apps. So I don't think you should open that many of apps. By seeing this, you can judge it whether to use this Linux distro or not. So when I was using in the beginning of the video, there was a bit of delay. That's I'm going to say it for you. So if you want to use this Linux distro, feel free to try it first. Don't just try to install it. Most of the viewers don't try to use it in a live boot. Directly go with the installation. Be careful while doing these things, because these are some of the unknown Linux distros. Not that much of famous this Linux distro is. So I don't even know whether it's famous or not in other countries, but in United States, in United Kingdom, it's not that much of famous. So it's a good option. Always go with the live boot first, then go with the, when you're trying to install this type of Linux distro or new Linux distros, go with the PC which you don't usually use for the work PC or main PC. Go with the PC which you usually don't use it if you're trying to install it. So something is working in the background after waiting of this much of time. So there was some movement in these applications. The apps were moving. Uh, so that was a major lag, as you can see. It is taking a lot of time. So I don't think it will work even if I wait for hours. So because there are a lot of apps already open, which are also like heavy consuming apps like a game, dark table, and like a lot of big apps. I already opened the K text editor, system monitor, and the library wolf, and like a software app center or something like that. And some other of apps are in the background, so they're trying to open. So even if you close this, if you want to solve this problem, you need to just restart it. So you will be getting a fresh live boot again. So if you already installed, you need to again restart it in your case if you already installed it. So if you ask my opinion, I'm going to always say use it first in a live boot. So you need to try like a login, log out, all these things before you are installing it on a hard disk. You need to test every possible thing which you can remember. So always try it in a live boot. If you are satisfied with everything, you need to go with the installation. Because I'm saying it again and again and warning you again it again, because I don't want you to ruin your PC. That's the reason I'm trying to say, because it's your PC. I'm not responsible. So you should be responsible for your PC. So that's the reason I'm trying to warn you. Don't just watch my video and try to install it. Try to watch like a bunch of guys videos. There are a lot of channels which will be doing Linux distro videos. So try to watch like a 4 to 5 videos, then go with the installation. Don't try to do something crazy thing which will ruin your PC. So it's always a good option. Go with all the videos, 5 6 videos, read everything, and go with the installation. So I think that's the end of the video, because we can't do anything right now because everything is stuck. because the fault I made, I opened like a 15 to 16 apps which are heavy resource consuming apps. So that's the reason I can't do anything. So I think this is the end of the video. I'll see you in next video. So I already posted another content because I'll be posting 2 videos daily. So already a video is available. So if you want to watch it, you can watch it video after watching this video. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. It helps make good content for you. Other than that, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace out.